Hello, friends, and welcome to What the Fringe, the podcast dedicated to all things Fringe theater. I'm your host, Lauren Hance. Each week, I visit with a Fringe artist to hear all about their endeavors and gain insight into their process. And this week, we are celebrating World Fringe Day. And so we have done something a little bit different and a little bit fringy. We put out an all call to all of our fringy friends, and the first artists to submit their 2.5-minute pitch are on the show today. So each production was asked to pitch their show and then either share a story about something super fringy or some fringy advice. So we're going to hear from fringers all over the world, and we have a few North American touring artists and then a slew of artists that will be presenting at the Edinburgh Fringe this August. So we have a packed program, so let's get started. All right, our first three shows are shows I have actually seen, and they are just wonderful. The first one is Husk Vessel from Kairos Dance Theater. Now, I saw this show earlier this year, and it is stunning and breathtaking and visceral. I mean, like all the deep words that you want to say. And these dancers use these huge swaths of cloth that are basically unmanageable, and they just create something really stunning and beautiful. So you do not have to be a lover of dance to love this show. Then second, we are going to have my brother from another mother, as I like to say, Jordan Rooks. He's a magician out of Las Vegas with his new show, Oz, a Wizard of Oz parody magic show. He is a spectacular magician, and his shows are sure to delight anyone who loves to be wowed. And then lastly, we have Godzilla is Not a Dinosaur from Abby Bland. Now, I caught this show last year, and Abby is absolutely hysterical. She's a stand-up cross-slam poet, and it's apropos that her last name is Bland because her sense of humor is very dry, but her show is anything but, and it is just laugh out loud funny.
Hi, Fringe friends. I'm Deanna Pilecchia, Artistic Director and Choreographer of Kairos Dance Theater, and we're thrilled to be making our Minnesota Fringe debut this summer. Our show is Husk Vessel, made in collaboration with choreographer Paula Josa Jones, and it's a raw, immersive dance theater work that explores the body as a container of memory and a shell shaped by time, loss, and resilience. It's a ritual in motion, it's a meditation on transformation. It's a deeply physical, emotionally charged experience that invites everyone to feel, to witness, and maybe even to heal. We've performed this piece across the country from San Diego to Atlanta. It was selected as a top 10 Fringe show at San Diego Fringe. Audiences have called it visceral, hauntingly beautiful, and a space to remember you're not alone. So if you're craving a performance that moves you literally and emotionally, this is the one. Fringe advice: hydrate and nap as often as you can, and take a chance on something totally weird, like maybe a dance show with zero talking and maximum emotional intensity. Spoiler alert, it might be ours. You can catch Husk Vessel this August at the Minnesota Fringe Festival. We'll be performing at the Southern Theater. Check the Fringe site or our website, kairosdancetheater.org, for dates and tickets, and we so hope to see you at the Minnesota Fringe.
Hi friends, my name is Jordan Rooks, and I'm currently at the Montreal Fringe Festival with my brand new show, Oz, which is a Wizard of Oz parody comedy magic show, soon coming to Portland, Maine, Winnipeg, Saskatoon, Rochester, New York, possibly Barcelona late this year. Come check it out. It's good for everybody, so bring your friends, bring your family, and I will see you over the rainbow for Oz.
Hey, my name is Abby Bland. I am a writer and a performer based in Kansas City. I am currently touring my show, Godzilla's Not a Dinosaur, which is my coming out story thrown against the history of the Godzilla franchise. It is very nerdy, very fun, and yes, I do wear a dinosaur costume for part of it. Now, I am taking it to 3 more festivals this year. I'm taking it to KC, Omaha, and St. Louis. I'm very excited to take the show to new audiences. I hope to see some of you out there. My best Fringe advice is to make sure that you are willing to try new things and ask questions and genuinely support the other artists in your festival. Not only do a lot of artists make sure to call out others at the end of their show, but it's a great way to see what everyone is working on and to help celebrate art and just learn new things and get to know new people. The best marketing is always going to be word of mouth, so showing up at shows that might have similar audiences to you is important, but also lets you see what people are responding to. And the whole point of being at Fringe is to be able to celebrate art and all the cool things, so you should make sure that you show up and do that, as well as running your own show. And you'll have a good time. I guarantee it.
Okay, from here on out, all of our shows are going to be artists that are presenting at the Edinburgh Fringe this August. That is just kind of how the submissions fell this year. So if you want to be featured next year and you're not doing Edinburgh, you're doing something else, we'll get it in early, people. That is how this thing works. Okay. Our first two shows in this section are going to be performing at the Summerhall Arts venue. And so they are definitely going to be pushing some boundaries. So if you didn't catch our episode earlier this year with Sam Goff, please go back and listen to that after you've listened to this, because he is absolutely brilliant. All right, our first show is Stampin' in the Graveyard and explores AI, but it is anything but generated. The performer takes on the character of an AI chatbot, and then the audience gets involved, and it has this kind of choose your own adventure vibe. And please go check out the website, because it's going to give you a taste of how much eye candy is going to be going on in this show. And then next we have a delightful Kiwi, Ollie Matheson, sharing about their dance show, The Butterfly Who Flew into the Rave. This dance team is award-winning, and it looks like it is a show that is going to have you moving, grooving, and definitely getting into all of your feels.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Gunawan, and I am the writer and performer of Stampin' in the Graveyard. Stampin' in the Graveyard is a headphone theater show coming to Summerhall. When the show opens, the world has ended, and all that is left is this AI chatbot named Rose. So Rose is trying to figure out the meaning of her existence in this new paradigm, and in order to do so, she goes through the memories of the human life that was, and she discovers more about the woman who created her. Audiences who saw it during our sold-out run at Voila Festival last year have said that the show is really evocative, really unique, and hauntingly beautiful. So I hope you'll get to see it. In terms of my most interesting experience at Edinburgh Fringe, I was here in 2023 at the Pleasance with my show Unforgettable Girl, and we had to share a dressing room with the bigger theater that was above us. You know, it was like a gym locker room, basically. We had to share with this band from the Netherlands called Slapstick, who had a team of like 12 people and like a child or something. And they had tap dancing in the show. So every day, our shows were on at the same time. At the exact same point in my show, we would start hearing doof, 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 because they were tap dancing upstairs. Luckily, it was the part of the show where I play a parody of a Karen. And so I just used it as an opportunity to be like, I'm going to speak to the manager. And surprisingly or unsurprisingly, we have stayed friends until now. And so that's my advice for Edinburgh Fringe: to bring your inexhaustible sense of humor and take all the unknown unknowns and all the uncertainties and all the challenges with a sense of humor and just have fun.
Kia ora, my name is Ollie Matheson, and I'm a queer and Māori choreographer from Aotearoa, New Zealand, and I'm bringing my show, The Butterfly Who Flew into the Rave, to Edinburgh Festival Fringe 2025. The Butterfly Who Flew into the Rave is a volatile, vigorous, intense dance show which explores rave and techno culture and movement in this jam-packed hour as the audience witnesses the destruction of us three humans try and attempt this work. It goes through all these like highs and lows, there's tenderness, there's camaraderie, there's all the peaks and valleys that you would feel and experience over a 3-day weekend bender in a club, condensed down into this hour. It is jam-packed, full of dancing, it's a good time, it's a hard time for us, and we'd love for you to come and see it. Now, a tip I've been given lots of tips as an artist coming to Fringe, but a tip I picked up from last year is that the Sainsbury's meal deals are where the real money saving is at. The substance for the price is really great, and you'll be like looking at your budget and looking at your spreadsheet and trying to figure out where can we save the most money, and that, I reckon, is where you can save the dollars, or the pounds in your case. Come catch us at Summerhall in the main hall at 6:05. We're running from the 31st of July all the way through to August the 25th. We'll see you there. Come for a rave.
All right, our next 3 shows are going to be playing at the Pleasance. We've got Cartoonopolis, which is coming back after its premiere 10 years ago. So this show has been around for a while. And if you have ever known or loved anyone with autism, you are going to absolutely love this show. I'm very excited about this one. And then we've got Mariupol, which is a timely piece that will have everyone thinking as it looks at a decades-long relationship between a Russian student and a Ukrainian Navy officer. This play is sure to pull on your heartstrings, so bring those tissues. And then I am super excited about the last artist who is going to be presenting 2 shows, Hold On to Your Butts and Fly, You Fools, Fly, You Fools. I have to say it like that, which features a live Foley artist. That is so fun. So it's going to be a very exciting show to listen and watch. So if you loved our episode earlier this season from the Atlanta Fringe audio, which talked a lot about Foley art, you will love this show.
Hello, my name is Lewis Ian Bray, and I'm the writer and performer of one-man show Cartoonopolis.
Hello, my name is Cordelia, and I am the producer of Cartoonopolis. Cartoonopolis is coming to the Edinburgh Fringe this year. It's the show's 10-year anniversary, and we're so excited to finally be bringing it to Edinburgh.
We've been sort of chipping away at this for 10 years, so I just can't wait to be there.
Cartoonopolis is the story of Lewis's not-so-little brother, Jack Bray, who is autistic.
Basically, he learned how to speak using cartoons like Disney and Pixar animation. He would go out into the back garden and he would make this imaginary world called Cartoonopolis, and he'd play all the different characters and tell different stories. And I remember him coming into us one day and basically saying, "Oh, well, you do know I've got an imaginary world." And I just knew at that point that I wanted to write a show about that.
Yeah, and the show is a real celebration of imagination, creativity, and this beautiful bond between 2 brothers, but also of a family, and a family's journey to advocate for the one that they love through all the kind of difficulties and changes in someone's life as they grow older as a neurodivergent and disabled person.
What would be your Fringe advice?
I was in a show a few years back called God Is a Woman. In that show, I had to eat a raw carrot on stage every single day. By midway through, I really regretted that because I had one day where I was eating a bit of carrot and I inhaled very quickly and it nearly choked me. So I would suggest either, make sure you've got a really good risk assessment, but also if you can avoid it, just don't eat on stage, and particularly not raw vegetables.
My advice would be look after yourself, cook meals, try and get some early nights, and have the best time of your life.
So come and catch Cartoonopolis at Jack Dome, the Pleasance Dome at 1:10 from the 31st of July to the 24th of August. The show is 75 minutes and we cannot wait to see you.
Woohoo!
Hi, my name is Katya Haddad and I'm a writer and playwright based in Buckinghamshire. I wrote Mariupol during my time at the Oxford playwriting course led by John Rettelag. John was our director of London run of Mariupol last February at the Cockpit Theatre. And this production of Mariupol at the Fringe is directed by Guy Rettelag. Mariupol is my personal response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. It's a city that I came to love and I visited frequently in my youth. It's the summer of 1992. A young student from Moscow, Galina, comes to Mariupol, a city on Azov Sea, and she meets Steve, Ukrainian naval officer. Fate brings them together 10 years later in 2002. And in the spring of 2022, after the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Galina chooses to travel to Mariupol. The city has already been occupied by Russian forces. She is trying to find Steve, who is a defender of Azovstal Steelworks, and she has a huge personal favor to ask of him. I hope that you will come and see Mariupol at the Pleasance Courtyard. We have 25 shows between July 30th and August 2025, and I hope you'll be taken by the story of Galina and Steve. The best advice I was given so far about the Fringe is to bring stapler gun, which I have already bought, in the hope that we will have some good reviews and I'll be able to use my stapler gun to staple them into our billboards and posters. See you there.
Hello, I'm Krista McCarthy-Parker, and I'm with Recent Cutbacks, and we are bringing 2 shows to Fringe this year, Hold On To Your Butts and Fly You Fools. Hold On To Your Butts is a 2-person parody of the greatest dinosaur film of all time, accompanied by a live sound and Foley artist. And Fly You Fools is a 3-person parody of the most epic fantasy film of all time, accompanied by a live sound and Foley artist. Our pieces are really joyful celebrations of physical theater and comedy. They're both running at an hour long at Pleasance Courtyard. Hold On To Your Butts is in 4th, and Fly You Fools is in Beyond. We went to the Fringe last year and had an amazing time. I think probably my most awkward but also fun experience was when we were flying on the mile in our inflatable T-Rex outfit. We attracted a lot of attention, especially from kids and families, but the outfit was very, very scary to dogs. So we ended up freaking out a lot of dogs on the Royal Mile. We're so excited to be back at Fringe this year. We hope you'll come check us out. Hold On To Your Butts is at 12:30, and Fly You Fools is at 15:10 or 3:10, as we say. We look forward to seeing you there. Thanks so much.
Our next 2 artists will be presenting shows at Gilded Balloon, which is celebrating its 40th year. So happy birthday, Gilded Balloon. We're going to give you some cupcakes or something when we're there in August. All right, so our first show is up. If you are into history and farce and something a little bit queer, you are going to absolutely love The Marriage of Alice B. Tolkas and Gertrude Stein. And the 4 actors are going to be sweating their little shatukis off because they are going to be playing over 30 characters. Looks like it's going to be a really fun show. Okay, and then I just have to say this. The next show is going to be anything but shite. From Shite Productions comes Girl Pop. Oh, yes, your favorite girl band is headed to Edinburgh, and I am sure that it will bring up all kinds of nostalgia.
Hello, my name is Edward Einhorn. I am the writer and director of the play The Marriage of Alice B. Toklas by Gertrude Stein, which is playing at Gilded Balloon, in the Patter House, at the Dram Theatre at 1 p.m. throughout the festival. I'm not in the play. I am the writer and director. In the play are Barsha, who plays Gertrude Stein, Alyssa Simon, who plays Alice B. Toklas, Jan Leslie Harding, who plays Picasso and about 20 other characters, and Grant Neal, who plays Hemingway and about 20 other characters. And it's a marriage farce about Stein and Toklas. If you don't know Stein and Toklas, they were 2 figures that were big in the literary and art scene in the 20s and 30s. They lived in Paris. They had a salon. All the famous artists of the time frequented that salon. And so the play takes place in the salon, and it imagines a wedding between the two of them, which they never had because of the time that they lived in. But it imagines what it would have been like and creates a sort of farcical, fun atmosphere for that wedding as the actors switch from one role to another. Also deals with their Jewish identity a little bit, which is another thing that was a little unacknowledged at the time. And brings history to life in a funny and exciting way, I hope. It played here in New York City. It got a New York Times critics pick from the lead reviewer of the Times, Jesse Green. Then it moved to London and got great reviews at the German Street Theatre, where it got 5 and 4-star reviews. And now we're bringing it to Edinburgh, so I hope you can join us. If there is any advice I have for Edinburgh as an audience member, for the first time I brought a show, is to see as many shows as you can. I loved going to see like 11 a.m., a 1 p.m., a 5 p.m., and a 9 p.m. It's one of the few places you can actually do such a thing. Some are good, some are great, some are terrible, but it's always worth it. Okay, hope you can see the show. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm the director and co-producer of Girl Pop, coming to Gilded Balloon, this Edinburgh Fringe Festival, at 8 p.m. every night of Fringe. I'm so excited to bring this show to Edinburgh. It's a new comedy musical about the famous girl band Girl Pop, who were really big in the noughties, and they had a very scandalous breakup. And they're coming back together for one night only to set the record straight, settle some rumors about why they broke up, but also play their top hits for you. So this show is just full of glitz, glamour, female friendships, coziness, and love. It's full of original pop tunes, and it's for anyone who really loves pop music, especially girl pop. Anyone who is screaming girl pop anthems in their mirror with their hairbrush, or anyone who just enjoys a really fun night out. So we really hope to see you there. Like I said, it's on a Gilded Balloon at 8 p.m. every night of Fringe. And this will be my personal third time going to Fringe. My first was in 2016 when I brought probably the worst show ever made to the space, A Jury's In. And I had an amazing week with my friends, putting on our show and getting drunk and just meeting loads of different artists and trying to understand what Fringe was about. I think a particular memory that comes to mind was being in the back of a taxi, a little bit tipsy, let's say, with two of my actors, and we decided to put on Southern Belle accents that night for our taxi driver while we were on the way to a show. So we had an amazing time. I don't know if our poor taxi driver Alan did, but we had a great 20 minutes with him. So I'm so excited to come to Fringe again. I think Girl Pop is absolutely going to blow up, and I really hope that you will come and enjoy your night with us. So we'll see you soon.
All right, in this section, our first two shows will be at the Greenside venue. First up is All the Boys I Blocked. Now, this show is a clown show, and I actually did see it earlier this year, and it is a super fun romp through kind of modern dating world, which I'm glad I'm not a part of. There is audience participation, there are sing-alongs, and maybe even some tasty snacks. It's presented by Chanel. She's amazing. She is my captain, and you will have to ask her about that and why, but you will definitely love this show, and you will not block it. Then we've got Painkiller, which is one woman's journey of self-discovery after some very traumatic events. Now, if you're just listening, you may need to catch this one on YouTube because there's some really fun shots of the show that she submitted with her video. So please go check that out and then get ready to laugh and cry and maybe come out a better person. And then our last show for this section is the Faustus Project, which will be playing at Underbelly. And each night, they get an audience volunteer to come and be a part of the play. And just so you know, the volunteer is definitely set up for failure. So I would like to officially submit my reel, which is this, to play the part of unknowing audience member. I don't know if I can pre-volunteer myself, but I am doing it.
Oh, hey! I didn't see you there. I'm Chanel in the Circus, and my Fringe show is called All the Boys I Blocked. I regret to inform you you're blocked, baby. You crossed one or more of my boundaries. It's sad for me too, but I'm sure you'll pull through. So ta-ta for now, you're blocked. Adieu. So my Fringe show is about all of the boys I've blocked, and in it I ask the audience who they've blocked, and I improvise songs about it with my accordion. Then we go on a long, treacherous, hilarious journey through heartbreak and ultimately leading to self-love and acceptance. I've been on tour with this show for the past few months, and I'm going to Edinburgh Fringe next. Very excited. I'm also doing a crowdfunder, so if you have any spare cash, send it to me and I will write a song about your ex. But one of my craziest stories is I was in Pittsburgh during their Fringe, and I had this older lady tell me her blocked story. She was about 80 years old, and she said that she was dating a younger man. And she decided it wasn't really for her, so she broke up with him. But he kept showing up at her door, and so she found his mom's number in the phone book and called his mom and said, "Hey, your son won't leave me alone, and I need to block him." And his mom was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." But then his mom kept calling her every single day, and so then she had to block him and his mother. And I just loved the audacity of this lady. Happy Fringe, everybody. Oh wait, that was the wrong chord. Wait.
Hi, I'm Evelyn Tolman, the writer and actress of Painkiller, a solo one-person show. I wrote Painkiller after my sister's baby died and my husband's father died in the same week. I was furious at God. I thought, this God, her, him, they was a sadistic prick. Like if Einstein and Hitler had a baby, God would be their baby.
Come on, God. He's a baby. Babies go home. Take a narcissist like Donald Trump running the planet.
And so I started looking for meaning to life. Like, why do these terrible things happen? And being from Los Angeles, I was invited to an ayahuasca retreat. Ew! Ayahuasca led me down the road to getting the message that I could heal people. And I was like Jesus. And so, of course, I began this healing journey. Or was this an ego trip? And did Mama Ayahuasca send me on the wrong journey? Can I allow life to take me where it takes me and stop trying to control things? Maybe being an actor was easier than being a healer. Nevertheless, I was convinced I could help a woman dying of cancer. It's how we try to control pain, and when we finally let go, we have the lesson of humility and acceptance. A crazy Fringe story was years ago. I did some plays with a troupe from Los Angeles, a bunch of wonderful one-act plays, Wallace Shaw, Mishima, and for this show, unfortunately, we only had one audience member, and he saw the one acts and he could choose which ones and pick. And after seeing two of them, he's like, "Thank you so much. I have an appointment. I need to leave." And the director wouldn't let him leave. The director was like, "Nope, you need to see all the one acts." And he was like, "So, please, can I leave?" And so I promise you, if you come see my show, I won't kidnap you. And if you want to leave, you can leave.
Hello, I'm Caden Scott. I am a director, actor, writer, etc. Originally from New Zealand, but I'm now based in Edinburgh. And I'm bringing the Faustus Project with my company Half Trick back for a return season to the Edinburgh Fringe. So the Faustus Project is where we do Marlowe's Dr. Faustus, the 400-year-old play. But we have a different guest actor every night who has not rehearsed with the rest of the cast. They've got a script in hand so they can follow what's going on, but we have made the show as hard for them to perform as possible. There's tricks, there's pranks, there's nasty surprises. They are in for a hell of a time, and they have no idea what's coming for them. And they have to try their best to get through that show before we drag them to hell. It's a real good time. And my best Fringe experience, this is going to sound like a bad experience, but it really wasn't, was 2 years ago. There was a show at Edinburgh Fringe called Dark Noon. Amazing show. The whole South African company built an American Wild West set on this huge stage, and they keep dragging people up. You know, you're in the congregation now, you're working on the railroad. I got dragged up to be in a bar. Now, I don't drink alcohol. I haven't drank alcohol in maybe 10 years. And I was in a bar, and the guy poured me a shot, and he said to me, quietly, not for the audience, he says to me, "This is whiskey." And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, right, okay, cool. He's giving me a direction for the scene. So I take that shot, and was whiskey. I'm coughing and spluttering, and he laughs a bit, so people laugh a bit. It's fine. And I was like, oh, it's whiskey. He was just telling me it was whiskey. He pours me another, and I have another. I don't know. The show was awesome. I just thought I'd give that to them. And then the rest of that day, including my show that night, I was 2 shots in for the first time in a while. So you can catch the Faustus Project where, hey, some similar crazy stuff might happen like that. At Underbelly, Belly Laugh, 21:05 p.m. in the evening, 9:05. And that is running all month at Edinburgh Fringe 2025.
All right. Our last set of shows will be performing at the Space UK, which is a venue that has been making a name for itself over the past few years. We've had a few of the artists that they've programmed on the show this year, and they all took home Scotsman Fringe First Awards when they were performing at the Space UK. So that space knows exactly what they're doing, and they are programming some incredible shows, including the next 4 shows. The first one is a music show, and it's called Waves of Tradition, A New Horizon in Scottish Chinese Music. Now, they submitted just a lovely selection of music, and then there's some graphics that go along with it. So if you watch on YouTube, you'll get to see that. Otherwise, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the music. And then be sure to check out the show notes so you can get more information on the show. Then we've got Anatomy of Pain. And if you have ever felt like the health system has failed you, you're going to connect with this show. It is so poignant, and be sure to bring a tissue and join in with all the others who understand the human cost of systemic failures. And then our last 2 artists are the founders of Unshaded Arts, a theater company dedicated to producing new plays that shine a light on universal stories driven by marginalized voices. They are each presenting shows, which is really cool. First, we have Strangers and Revelations that explores the relationship between men and women, mythology, and trauma through an African lens. I think that sounds like a really, really cool show. And then last but not least, we have Because, exploring things of mental illness, bullying, and morality. And I put this show last because Hassan, did you hear what I said? Because, you see what I did there? Hassan has some absolutely beautiful Fringe advice. And so I feel like if you're ever just kind of down in the dumps at a Fringe show and just feeling like, what am I doing with my life? Just remember the words of wisdom from Hassan and you will feel better.
Manuela and I am the producer for The Anatomy of Pain. A bit about our show. It explores the devastating impact that dysfunctional healthcare systems have on our main character, Alex, who is seeking diagnosis for Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is an incredibly rare and debilitating condition. And we see Alex unpack this experience of getting this diagnosis and the terrible impact it has on her relationships and her sense of self. The show uses dark humour and poetry as provocation for change and is particularly relevant in today's political climate as we continue to see ongoing cuts to the healthcare system as well as PIP. With a combination of music, projections and incredible performance, this show is a must-see for anyone who is seeking to understand more about the human cost of systematic failings. Working on this show with me, we have an incredibly talented crew who are currently putting in so much groundwork to create an intricately layered combination of media that helps to display the intentions for our show. We also have two phenomenal actors who are currently in the rehearsal room and are going through a very intentional and rigorous rehearsal process. My favourite memory of Fringe is when I was last there in 2023, when obviously everyone knows that when you're up in the Fringe, you also have to be flyering, and every time I went to flyer, it would pour with rain. So I decided to buy myself a poncho, as most people in Edinburgh seem to wear. And little did I know that the poncho I had bought had massive Scottish flags all over it. And the moment I put it on, it was as though I was transformed. I became someone else. And it made flyering so much more fun. And I think I enjoyed it, the team enjoyed it. I hope the people I was flying to enjoyed it. It was incredible. I had such a great time and I felt like this new sense of confidence due to that Scottish poncho. Anyway, The Anatomy of Pain will be at Edinburgh Fringe 2025, performing at the space at Surgeons Hall, just off of the Royal Mile, and we'll be there from August 1st to August 9th at 1:50 p.m. We would love to see you there and we hope you enjoy the show. Thank you.
Hi everyone, how are you? My name is Chiedza Rwodzi and I am an actress, writer, producer. I was born and raised in Zimbabwe and came to the UK over a decade ago. I have an exciting, intriguing, engaging gem of a play called Strangers and Revelations. Strangers and Revelations had its debut in Kenya last year and I am excited to be bringing it to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. Strangers and Revelations, it's a different one. It's a romantic. It is filled with mystery and a lot of revelations. It sees Malcolm and Zodwa meeting for the very first time at Malcolm's house. Yes, you heard that right. And a lot of things are discovered within this play, grounded in mythology, it's grounded in spirituality, and I cannot wait for you to actually watch it. My best advice for the Fringe is come with an expectant heart. Make sure you do a bit of planning, of course, because there are a million plays there. So I would advise, come expectant, but also come with a planned schedule. Of course, that schedule could change if you see something else that you might want to watch, but there's just so much out there. I would highly recommend that you at least come with an idea of what you want to come and watch. I would love you to come and watch my play because it's going to be exciting. And it will be at the Space UK midday, August the 1st to August the 23rd. The Space UK, August the 1st to August the 23rd. You don't want to miss this firecracker. There's a lot in this play and you really, really don't want to miss it. See you there.
Hi. My name is Hassan Gavaya and I am a writer, performer from London and one half of Unshaded Art, a London-based theatre company with a mission to shine a light on universal stories driven by marginalised voices. My show is entitled Because. It is a solo show about a young man named Jade, played by me, who engages in his own form of self-therapy by talking to himself. Something I feel like a lot of people do but maybe don't talk about openly. He leans into his inner voice as a means of grounding him, but upon hearing some unsettling news about an old school acquaintance, also named Jade, he begins to spiral, and his inner voice goes from being somewhat of a stabilizer for him to uncomfortably confrontational, forcing him to make sense of past experiences that ultimately he wants to leave in the past, but seem to be having a long-term impact on the person he is today. My best Fringe advice. Make the most of the experience and the platform that Fringe festivals give you as a theatre maker to present your work in the way you want to present it. Fringe theatre is an unparalleled medium for artistic expression that has the power to move the needle of the mainstream. So capitalize on your platform with whatever means you have and make your mark. And if one show doesn't give you the results that you want, keep going. Keep creating and keep believing in your power to make great work. Because at the end of the day, in my opinion, that's what it's all about. Work that can stand the test of time and live beyond you. Every great that has ever lived has that in common. Why can't it be you? You can catch Because at this year's Edinburgh Festival Fringe, playing at the Space UK in the Triplex studio from the 1st to the 23rd of August 2025.
Hope to see you there.
Well, I am so excited about all of these shows that we feature today here on our World Fringe Day episode. And I'm hoping to catch some of them because I am headed to Edinburgh Fringe for the first week of the Fringe. I will be there reviewing shows, and maybe I'll catch you on the street and you can pitch your show to the podcast. Now, it wouldn't be World Fringe Day if I didn't promote my own show, right? So you can see my show, Holy O, at the Edmonton Fringe this August. That's right, I'm going to be going to Edinburgh and then Edmonton. I don't know what I was thinking, hopping all those time zones, but it's going to be a blast. Holy O is an immersive dramedy that asks the questions, what happens when faith and doubt collide, and could it be something worth believing in? That's all you need to know. And then go take part in one of my favorite activities, which is stalking shows online. So you can go stalk my show and be sure to stalk all of the other shows because they're so incredible. It's going to be really easy for you to stalk them because all of their information is going to be down in the show notes. So click that and find out more information about these incredible performers. And again, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that submitted. I just absolutely love the Fringe community. I've been doing this podcast for 2 years now, and I'm just always amazed at the artists that I get to interview. And then I've been doing Fringe for about 4 years, and people that I meet on the road. I mean, I really think Fringe has the most talented people in the world, a place where they film movies and do big shows on that long street. That's all I'm going to say. They have their place and they're all wonderful and talented, but Fringe, oh my gosh, Fringe performers are a special breed and they are so talented and so wonderful. And I'm so honored to be in this community with you and be on this journey with you. So thank you to everyone. All right, What the Fringe is produced and hosted by me, Lauren Hantz. This episode was edited by Ben Ellis of Renowned Media, and those sweet tunes you hear are provided by Paul Snyder of Orchestra of Sound, and our logo was designed by Ruby Arnold of Ruby Makes Things. What the Fringe can be found on your favorite podcast platforms and now on YouTube. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay in the know when new episodes release. Keep up with What the Fringe on Instagram at whatthefringe_productions and find us online at whatthefringeproductions.com. Fringe has been going on for a few days and then you start getting that little grumbly and you're tumbly, and before you know it, you got a bout of diarrhea. And it's because
the Sainsbury's meal deals are where the real money saving is at.